Hi, I'm Jeremy Callahan, and this is the App or Not to App. Mobile apps can help your business reduce costs, increase leads, and reduce manpower. An app is not a luxury item, it's a necessity. So let's get started making you money. All right, everybody, welcome to the podcast today. I am super excited to have a friend of mine on. His name is Daniel Alonzo. Daniel helps people achieve financial freedom through massive passive income. He helps create wealth so you can enjoy your life and do what you want to do in your life. He's an insurance agent. He works for Primerica. Well, he's an owner, right, Daniel? Is that what you are?
Yeah, I own a bunch of Primerica franchises, and we have about 1,500 licensed agents today, and we have about 43 locations. So
cool. Well, in addition to that, man, he's also a speaker. He's a business coach. He has a podcast called Wealth on the Beach. And in honor of you, dude, I wanted to name today's topic, Do It Now.
All right.
It's one of the things I see you posting a lot about on social media and stuff. So we'll just title it that, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. But give everybody out there just a basic idea of your background and how you got started and what you're doing now.
Well, I was always an athlete. Always looked at wanting a better life. I was always competitive, and a buddy of mine, he's one of my best friends growing up. He invited me to this event, and so I went to an event to watch all these speakers, and they sounded like the infomercial like 2:00 in the morning that you watch, and you were talking about having a better life, and you could get financially free, and you could you could travel the world and do all these fun things, and honestly, Jeremy, I bought it hook, line, and sinker, man. I bought it. It was like I was sold, and 22 years later, it's every single thing that person at that meeting that night, every single thing that they promised me, that they told me was going to happen, actually happened. And so, but I got started. I was very, very coachable because I came from a background of sports. And so I followed the system really, really closely. And it worked out really, really well.
That's awesome. So, a lot of people, I was just at this real estate wealth expo over the weekend, and there was kind of a lot of opportunities popping up for various people, in real estate or investing and stuff like that, and kind of talking about what you're doing. So you said you bought it hook, line, and sinker. You obviously have people that you bring into the organization on a regular basis. What would you say is kind of the most important factor of people that come on and become successful in those environments?
I think number one is coachability. You have to realize that there are people in this world that know more than you, and and your past is probably not going to get you an amazing future. The things that you've learned in the past is not necessarily going to help you become successful at a new venture or in your future. You have to grow. You have to learn new things. You have to learn from people that that have already done it. And so I was really great at modeling, and I was great at. I wasn't a very good student growing up, Jeremy, and I was kind of one of those bad kids growing up. Me and the vice principal, we were really, really tight.
First name basis.
First name basis. He knew who I was. But I wasn't a good student. So of course I always copied. So I would walk into the class, I'd find the smartest person, and then I would go sit right next to that person, and they would be my best friend for the rest of the school year. And so, but seriously, when I came into business, I did virtually the same thing. I looked at the most successful people, and then I copied them. I did exactly what they were doing. And of course, I once I mastered my craft, once I got really, really good, I started making, the things that I was learning, I started making them my own. And that's how I really created all these systems and processes that we've been able to duplicate through the years.
That's cool. And so when you were young, and was this kind of the first opportunity that came across your plate, or were there other things before that that you swung and missed at?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a bunch. I mean, when I was, I tell this story when I was about 14 years old. I was, a little hoodlum. We were running the streets, me and my buddy, and we would open up cars and try to get into cars, and maybe we'd steal sunglasses or change in the ashtray or whatever. And we were out late at night. One night we were in Newport Beach, and we go up to this van. We open up the van, and there was a boom box radio. I mean, I'm talking like one of those big old, it was I guess it was probably it was probably early 80s,
Yeah.
mid 80s. And so, and we open up and we get this boombox radio, and has a tape cassette. So we run, we get back to his mom's house, and the tape was by Jack Canfield, and it was called, who Jack Canfield is.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, and it was called Self-Esteem and Peak Performance. And it really, really changed my thinking of asking for what I wanted, and really got me to start thinking. But the reason why I mentioned that is because I was one of those people the growth that I had to get me to that point. It was a lot of change. It was a lot of me getting better. It was a lot of me improving. It was a lot of me becoming a different version of myself. And so I started little businesses. I think at 18, I started a little business, and it was called Child Shield. And it was like if your child got lost,
Yeah.
then this company would spring into action, and they would go try to save your child. They would put out flyers and ads and TV spots and try to get, well, of course, the company never lasted. And of course, either did I. So I failed at that. Somebody tried to get me into another type of multi-level business. I think it was, it was Amway or something. I think it was Amway. And somebody tried to get me in that. And I had kind of, played around with the thought of that, but I never really got started. I just, and then, it was just a buddy of mine recruited me into where I'm at right now. So yeah, I mean, I swung and missed lots and lots of times before we ended up winning.
Yeah, right. But you kept trying, right? Like you never stopped. And yeah. So it's interesting because I know, some of my friends on social media that I grew up with, one of them does that Reardon Fields, and and you see these people that have a lot of success in that. What do you think, as far as you kind of touched on it a little bit? That's a funny story, by the way, with the Jack Canfield tape coming to you like that. What do you think is the importance in investing in yourself?
Oh, I think it's everything, because I also say this all the time, is you only know what you know because of what you know. You know? And so so for me, I only knew maybe people that were struggling. I only knew people that didn't have enough. I wasn't raised in a wealthy environment. I mean, I had great parents, but my parents were divorced when I was younger. I have a real dad, and I have a stepdad, and I've gotten to learn things from both of them. But the truth is none of them were business owners, and none of them were wealthy. And so I had to look at, if that's the life that I wanted, Jeremy, then I had to look at learning from other people that had the things that I wanted. No disrespect to my parents, no disrespect to anybody in my family, but the truth is they were not gonna take me to that next level in my life. And so I think that's a challenge for a lot of people, because you do respect your parents, and you do respect your friends, and you do respect your relatives, and you feel like if you don't take their advice, you feel like you're disrespecting them. But the truth is that they're just not probably going to take you to that next level if that's not where they're at in their life. So, yeah.
So let me talk to you then about a specific question, and something I think that I deal with, and I bet you do as well. So if you grow up in an environment where your parents have worked their whole life, and they're,
going to get the pension or whatever. And then you're expected, that's kind of what you know, right? Growing up.
Yeah.
Do you, or did you personally struggle with like, hey, I should go out and get a job and just be a corporate guy or a firefighter or something like that, and kind of have the paying job versus every day I'm going to try to make my own business? Did you struggle with that? Do you still, or?
Well, no, I mean, it was a big struggle because, of course, I mean, I was supposed to go to college. I mean, I actually did go to college for a little while, but that was the route. I was supposed to do that. And my stepfather, which, I mean, really changed my life because he did have a college education. He was actually went to USC. He was student of the year, the MBA program with USC. So he had a really great education. And so for me, when I started to go into business and I'm going to be an entrepreneur, and not to mention, not just be an entrepreneur, but I'm going into a direct selling business that 22 years ago wasn't as in fashion as maybe it is today. It's more, people understand it a lot better today than maybe they did 22 years ago. And so it was a struggle. It was like, nobody believed in me. Everybody thought I was freaking crazy. I mean, matter of fact, one of my best friends got me in the business, but my other best friend that lived down the street from me that we spent every single day together, he thought I was psychotic. He thought I was nuts. His parents, his dad worked for JPL. His mom worked for Countrywide Mortgage. That's kind of funny because, I mean, her company went out of business, and they shamed me. I mean, me and him, we almost got in a fight over me going into business. He said, you need to go to college. You need to get a good job. Look at my parents, and, have this, and, they went to college, and she's working for a big company and all this stuff. And I just think it's amazing that, there's so many people that don't believe in you. And so I knew, but let me tell you something, Jeremy. One of the things that I'm learning through the last couple decades is that I've learned is that when you get that feeling in your stomach, when things feel weird, when things feel like you're doing something out of your comfort zone, and people are shitting on you for trying, you're on the right track. I mean, you're on the right track. And so you just don't even know how great your life can be. And for some of your listeners out there, they don't even know how great their life can be if they would just get out of their freaking own way and stop analyzing the shit that goes on in their heads, and get over it and just kind of, and just get moving in the right direction. But again, if you have a good coach, and this is why I think I've been able to coach people so well through the years, is because I had good coaches. I had good mentors. I had people guiding me along the way. And so I believe, a good coach can take you places that you don't even know that you can go.
Well, I mean, you said a lot there. And again, the topic is do it now. You know what I mean? And like, that's kind of, you got to take action. That whole thing you were saying about if you feel something in your gut and you continue to feel it, it's not just indigestion. It's not about it. Like, there's a reason you continue to feel it, and you got to take some action and do it. And I think the second part about finding a good mentor, finding a good coach is the most important thing. And it doesn't matter if you have a corporate job, if you're if you're on your own or whatever, who are you going to model? If there's no one in your immediate environment to model, you probably need to find a new environment or get outside of it. Hey, I know you talk a lot about relations and building relationships and stuff like that. So let's just talk. I got a few questions around that. First of all, just tell me your thoughts on the importance of relationships in business.
Well, I mean, the relationships are to me, are everything. Those are the connections that you're building. When I recruit somebody in my business and I build a relationship with them, they're family to me. We are not people are not a number to me. People are family. People are relationships. People are, I mean, look, I'm a pretty loyal guy. I mean, I'm very, very loyal. I mean, I like to help my friends. I mean, if I can help them, I help them. I've always came through. I've spoke all over the country, Jeremy. I mean, literally all over the country, probably 30 out of 50 states I've traveled to just to help out a fellow person in business. And let me just say this. I never got paid one time for those events.
Yeah.
Never, not one time. So I've traveled all over. And so these are people that I could call them up and go, I could sleep on their couch. I could sleep on, you know, a lot of couches across the country. And those are people that they have my back. You know, we have an event that we're putting together right now on January 19th. So if any of your listeners are in Ontario, California, yeah, if they're around Ontario, California in January, on January 19th, we're going to bring together some of the best and brightest. We got, so far, we got Tim Story is going to be there. We got Sharon Lecter is going to be there. We have Matt Monero is going to be there. We have some of the most incredible people coming, and we're just adding people like crazy. I don't know. I mean, we might have, you know, 10 or 20 people by the time we're done here. I'm actually bringing some people out from Las Vegas. I mean, so anyways, we're going to have several thousand people there. But the other day when we were starting to talk about the event, when we were starting to, I mean, we haven't completely launched it yet, but as I was just kind of feeling things out, I was making calls, and it was unbelievable how many people. I mean, we're gonna have people from Vegas, we're gonna have people from Canada, we're gonna have people from up north in California, we're gonna have people, you know, from San Francisco and those areas. But the reason why I mention that is I have all these relationships through the years that I've invested into those people. So when I need something, they're gonna come through for me. And
right.
that's the importance of relationships, is that you can't ever think about what am I going to get from this person today. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're going to get out of the person today. It's the fact that you do good things for other people. Eventually it's coming back to you. You don't know when it's coming back. And I think people are so short-sighted. They're so, it's always about today. Give me something today. But they forget that the best relationships are the ones that are formed over long periods of time. And of course, you know, I got your back, man. You got my back. I got your back. We can help each other. Let's go do something great. And so I think relationships are everything, man.
I love it, man. And I really like that, how openly and freely you're willing to give to people and give back to people and help the people that you know. And I will say that, you know, for everyone out there listening, that, you know, sometimes we think in our minds that people don't want to help. That, you know, trust me, people want to help you. People want to give back, and especially the people at the top. You know, they struggle to get there, and it's pretty inspiring when somebody comes up to you and they say, "Well, I want to be successful and I want to make a lot of money." Like, I like hearing that. I'm like, I want to help this person, and I was watching one of your YouTube videos, and you were saying, you know, you gotta get with millionaires and be with millionaires. And how do you get and hang out with millionaires? You know, how do you go about doing that? Like, just say you're just a regular guy and you're like, yeah, you have a good idea. What are some good ways to, you know, to, I guess, network up would be the question.
Right. Well, I think one way, I mean, just a thought here, but I have my Wealth on the Beach Club. I mean, that's a great little first starting, you know, way to connect with me and to be in my environment and in my space. I think we have 25 or 30 people right now that every Wednesday, matter of fact, today I'm going to be doing a Wealth on the Beach Club. I do a half an hour lesson. I do another half an hour on Q&A. So we're having conversations. People are asking their questions. They're wanting to get better. They're learning new things. And so that's one way. I mean, when I first got into business, the first thing I did was I found the most successful person that I knew in my family, and she was in real estate, and her name was Marty. And I met her at like 11:30 at night at some little restaurant, and I picked her brain, and I, you know, asked her, you know, and remember, millionaires want to help people.
Right.
I mean, don't ever underestimate that fact, because when people ask for help, I usually help. I mean, now in today's world with social media, I do my best. The reason why I developed Wealth on the Beach Club is because I can't answer 30 questions a day. They're just not, it's not humanly possible for me to do that. So Wealth on the Beach allows me to spend time with a certain amount of people that are willing to kind of put their little bit of skin in the game. And it's not a lot of skin in the game, but just a little bit of skin in the game. And to say, hey, look, I want to spend time with this guy. I want to get to know him. I want to learn from him. I want to get some insight from him. And so yeah, I mean, I just think that to me is the first step in how you start to build these relationships. The second thing that you might want to think about is being a part of an organization that has millionaires inside of it, kind of like my business. We have a lot of millionaires in my company. So if you're a part of my company, you kind of just automatically get connected to those people and a lot of people that can help you.
Well, that's great. And I mean, that's great advice. And kind of to pile on to it with what you're doing in January, what was it, the 19th or the
January 19th? Yep.
Is that a 2-day event or is that just a 1-dayer?
It's actually just a 1-day full on 9 to 5, 9 to 6 o'clock at night event. And it's going to be nonstop information, challenges, fun, and also just massive amounts of networking. I mean, there's going to be several thousand people there, lots of networking.
And I mean, that's great advice. Join a group, like a Facebook group, like what you're talking about, where you can actually get some real coaching advice, something that you're invested in. Go to a live event. And by the way, if you're looking go to this event, because Tim Story is going to be there. That dude's worth the price of admission on his own right there.
Right.
That'll really get you inspired, and you'll be around people that are more like you. So I'm going to start kind of wrapping up, but kind of what are you moving forward in the next, where are you going in the next 6 months, year? What's kind of your main focus right now?
I mean, my main focus is massive lead generation. So all I think about right now is because look, I started at 21 years old. I was financially independent at 28. I'd saved $1 million. I was free. I was okay. My family is safe. Today we're worth, I don't know, in the maybe $16 million range or something like that. And again, I know there's a lot of people out there saying, I know richer people and blah, 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 whatever. But from a kid where I came from a not so good neighborhood in El Monte, California, to be able to live in a $2.5 million home and drive the cars that we want to drive and be able to be totally financially free.
Sure.
Look, the truth is I just want to help people, man. I mean, I am on a mission to help people, but the only way I can help people is through massive lead generation. So I'm trying to find ways, I'm trying to figure out ways, number one, to create massive leads, and the best way to do that, in my opinion, is through more eyeballs. So I got to be in front of more people. I got to do more podcasts. I got to do more speaking engagements. I got to do more one-on-one conversations. I have to help more people and create more relationships. And so I know that in the next couple of years, because we have 43 locations, in the next 3 years, I want to be at 100 locations. So I am looking for another 60 people to help, to open up locations across the United States. We just hired somebody in Texas. We just hired somebody in Florida. So we are starting to kind of, we got people up in Stockton, up your area.
Yeah.
And so we're expanding like crazy. We got people in Fresno. We got, like I said, Las Vegas, and of course, all through Southern California. And so we're just trying to grow, man. So my vision is to have 100 locations and help those people get their financial independence, get their wealth on the beach. And
right.
That's all I think about morning, noon, and night, man, is how to help those people grow and have a better life.
Well, do it now. That's why I wanted to come, and I just love the way that you're going for it. I know a few people that I've been talking to recently that have really achieved success, and they're kind of like, what should I do now? Moping around. And I'm like, you got to have a bigger goal, And so I love that you're out there and you're just continuing to drive and push and help people, really. Cool. So how can people get in touch with you? How can they learn more about you and know more about you, and all that?
Well, I do have if you want to know my bio, if you want to know more about me specifically, just read my story. It's not long, but if you want to get to know me, go to alonzoacademy.com. So that's a great way just to get my bio, read my story. The other way, of course, I'm really active on Instagram. I answer all my messages. I want a personal relationship with people. I try to, well, no, I don't even try. I answer every single message personally. I am on my phone constantly all day long, every day. I'm glued to it. And again, because I have a vision
That's
to
right.
help people, I have this vision. So the work, it's not work to me. It really isn't. I am enjoying this process. I am meeting so many people, Jeremy. I'm creating so many more lifetime relationships and friendships, and I'm having a blast doing it. So check me out on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, at Daniel Alonzo. I got a YouTube channel that's got a lot of free content. And so, and I'm going to be, in the future, going to be posting more and more and more on my YouTube channel. And, but of course, man, just send me a DM if you have a question for me, if there's something that you want to know about me or learn about me, or, hey, you might be interested in going into financial services. So some of your viewers might be saying, hey, look, I want to go into business with that guy. I want to be in, help people with investments, help people retire, get financially independent and make sure their families are properly protected, whatever, right? If that's something that you might be interested in, contact me. Let's talk, man. Let's have a conversation and let's see where it goes.
I love it, man. Because I want everybody to know too, is like, you see a lot of these people on the internet and, all these social sites. By the way, you're using social for good. So I like that. But not only that, there's something actually behind Daniel, right? He's got a company. He's a successful guy. He can help you achieve success in financial services if you want to join his team. There's actually something there. He's not just posing with a Lamborghini or anything like that. There's substance behind what he's doing. And that's why I wanted to have you on the podcast and get you out to people today, just so they could learn more about you and bring value to my listeners and everybody else. And I love that you always do that. So I really appreciate you being on the podcast today. Always great to talk to you. And just thanks again.
You got it, man. You're the best, Jeremy. Appreciate you, buddy. Have a great day and do it now.
All right, man. Do it now. Exactly. Everybody do it now. Thanks, Daniel.